All right, so you're ready to dive into your Spanish family history? Well, you've definitely come to the right place. We're going to break down all the essentials you need to get a really solid foundation for your search. So let's get right into it.
Okay, before we really get going, let me ask you something. Think you know where you'd even start looking for your Spanish ancestors? It sounds simple, but the answer might not be what you think. And trust me, knowing where to look, that's the whole ballgame. It's the most critical first step.
So here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with Span's two big record eras, then we'll get into your most important records, where to actually find them, how to read those old documents, and finally, how to tackle some common hurdles you might run into. All right, let's jump right into our first section, Spain's two record eras. Now, if you only take one thing away from this whole explainer, please let it be this. This is the foundation of your entire search. See, Spanish genealogy is really split into two completely different periods, and it all comes down to two specific dates. And here they are. These two dates create what I call the Great Divide in your research. You've got 1563, when the Catholic Church started requiring parishes to keep records. That's the dawn of everything. Then, boom, January 1st, 1871, the government steps in with its own system. So basically, before 71, you're looking for church records. After 71, you're looking for government records. It's like a compass for your research. It tells you exactly which way to point. And look, this isn't just some boring history lesson. This is genuinely your most powerful research tool. Knowing which era your ancestor lived in, church or state, tells you exactly what type of record you need to be looking for first. It's going to save you so much time and stop you from barking up the wrong tree, searching in archives that won't have what you need. Okay, section 2, your most important records. So now that you know the when, let's talk about the what. What are you actually looking for? We're talking about the specific documents that hold the golden nuggets, the names, the dates, the family connections that are going to build out your family tree. So here's the breakdown of those two primary record types. You've got your parish records for anything before 1871 and civil records for everything after. Now, the civil records, they're great, super detailed, very precise. But the parish records, they have a kind of magic to them. They can name not just the parents, but all 4 grandparents. Can you imagine that? You find one baptism from, say, 1750, and in a single document, you've just blasted 2 generations back in time. It's incredible. Now, here's a pro tip that you've got to remember, because this trips up so many people. See that overlap period between 1871 and about 1900? For those years, you should always check both types of records. Why? Because a marriage in, say, 1880 could easily be recorded in the church and at the town hall. That means you get 2 shots at finding the record. It's a huge advantage. Okay, once you get the hang of the big 2, parish and civil records, then the real fun begins. You can start digging into these other records. We're talking about notarial records like wills and land sales, municipal censuses or padrones, even military and emigration records. This is where the story gets color. A will might spill the tea on some family drama. A census puts your family on a specific street at a specific time. And get this, a military record might even tell you the eye color of your great-great-grandfather. How cool is that? All right, section 3, where to find records. You know the what and the when. Now for the million-dollar question. Where in the world are these things kept? Let's draw up your treasure map. And the search really comes down to these 3 steps. And you have to do them in this order. Step 1, and this is non-negotiable, you have to pinpoint the town. Spanish records are all local. You can't just type a name into a national database. It doesn't work that way. Once you have the town, step 2 is to search online first. Places like Family Search or the Spanish National Archives portal, Paris. If you come up empty, then it's on to step 3, figuring out which physical archive, diocesan, provincial, or municipal, has the actual books. Just look at this number for a second. Over 1,600. That is the number of parishes in Spain that have records that survive from before the year 1570. That's just mind-blowing. It speaks to how incredibly well these records were preserved. And what it means for you is that tracing your family back to the 1500s, that's not some genealogical fantasy. For many of you, it's a completely realistic goal. Okay, moving on to section 4, how to read old documents. So you did it, you follow the steps, you found the record. Awesome. But now you have to actually read it. And that can be a whole other challenge. Let's talk about cracking the code of old handwriting. You're going to hear this word, paleography. Sounds super academic, right?
Don't let it intimidate you. All it means is the study of old handwriting, and I promise it's a skill you can learn. It's like learning to read a new font, just a very, very old one. And it's the key that unlocks everything in those old records.
Think of this as your starter glossary, your cheat sheet. The best way to start is not to try and read every single word. Instead, learn to spot these key phrases. See, even if the script is a total mess, if you can pick out hijo legítimo de, you know the next two names are the parents. If you spot natural de, that's the jackpot. It tells you where they were born. These phrases are like signposts in the document. And here's another really important thing to remember. Spelling was not standardized back then, not even close. The absolute key is to be flexible. Think about how the name sounds, not how it's spelled today. The scribe just wrote what he heard, so you have to kind of think like he did. All right, our final section, overcoming common hurdles. Let's be real. Every single person doing genealogy, no matter how much of an expert they are, hits a brick wall. It's just part of the process. So let's go over some of the most common snags in Spanish research and, more importantly, what you can do when you get stuck. This right here is your go-to troubleshooting guide. So, problem number 1, a record gap. Maybe a book was lost in the Civil War. What do? You check the diocesan archive. That's kind of like the regional headquarters for the churches, because they often made duplicates. Problem 2, regional languages. You're in Catalonia and see the word feel? Don't panic. It's just Catalan for son, the same as hijo in Spanish. And finally, confusing surnames. Just remember this huge advantage we have in Spanish research. Women kept their maiden names. This makes tracking the mother's line so much easier than in other cultures. So as you get ready to begin your own research, just remember this. A single piece of paper, sitting in a quiet archive, can literally unveil generations of your family. The past isn't gone. It's preserved, and it's just waiting for you to discover it. So there you have it. You've got the foundational knowledge now. You know about the two eras, you know the key records to look for, and you have strategies to both find them and read them. You are absolutely ready to start this amazing journey. The only question left is, what's the first name you're going to search for?